wild.
Yeah, that's a big cod baby right there.
You're just gonna fillet this sucker right off the bone?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fish Out Northwest, waiting on Tommy Donlin.
This is what you call a bait stop.
And after work, a cold beer in my hand. Picking wild berries off God's land. And drinking my buddy's homemade wine. Living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got.
Hello and welcome to Fish Out Northwest, waiting on, and yes, Tommy Donlin. We are back here in studio.
Hey, buddy.
We were a little busy last week, didn't make it into studio, didn't have a live show from here, but we were at a phenomenal event nonetheless.
Yes, we were, the Ducks Unlimited Banquet.
Boy, that thing, they do an amazing job. If you tuned in and, saw we had a little, 20, 25 minutes we jumped on and just kind of perused it there, let folks know what we were up to. But since then, both of us have been out on the water chasing different species, different locations.
Right. Yeah.
And,
a little bit of tuna, a little bit of king salmon.
The tuna that you guys put on the floor, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but holy smokes, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's how it should be. Those are the days of yesteryears, so
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, had some good salmon opportunities. Some things are changing, obviously. Very fluid in our fisheries management as of late, to include a lot of our Chinook and Coho fisheries, to be exact, and some Steelhead as well. So lots to get into tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, if you're joining us for the first time, sit back and enjoy, learn something, and be entertained. If you're going to tune in here on Root Sports, welcome. Welcome to the show. And we have a lot of content to get through. Before we get too far along, Tommy, I'd like to always remind folks, hey, jump on over to our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. And right there in front, you're going to see a nice coupon, FHN20. That is your ticket for success. All edge rods, 20% off all the time through Fish Hunt Northwest. Simply click on the rod of choice, add the coupon code at checkout. If the rod is not already under some other type of reduced pricing or coupon special, you're going to get 20% off all your rod purchases at Edge Rod all the time. Happy to have them on board. Man, they are fantastic rods.
Oh, amen.
We are doing well with those. So, lots going on, Tommy. Lots of changes the last couple days. Fishing's on again, off again,
Right.
on again.
Yeah, seasons are on again, off again, on
It's
again.
just all over the place. We're going to try to get through a lot of it this evening and give you the rundown on where you can fish and when, and hopefully some things will come back on. And we got a lot of ground to cover here. We're not going to lie. This has been a little bit the last 48 hours. I've just been juggling.
Very dynamic.
Yeah. What are we going to put on the show? Because there's too many changes going about. But lots to cover, and been dragging that Mustang around the state here, and just everywhere I land, man, getting on the water with that boat. People are coming up talking to me about that boat. That thing grabs attention.
It does. It must have something to do with the graphics and
I
the
think
profile.
it's more so the boat. People look at that boat and they're like, "What kind of boat is that?"
Yeah.
I'm like, it says Allied, man. You need to check it out. 21-foot Mustang towed everywhere.
Right.
Fish all these fisheries. It's been phenomenal. Every time I get on the water with that thing, I just smile. It has just been a pleasure to fish that boat. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, get on Allied. Check it out. 21-foot hardtop Mustang. Running down the show tonight, Tommy, lots to get to, as I had mentioned. Wrong graphic, Jordan. So we have Over the Rail, Buoy 10 recap, now moving upriver, full report and closures. Didn't see that coming. Then, Tommy, you are back in the bait lab.
Mm-hmm.
We got some live bait action for tuna.
Covering live bait tuna, baby. Yep,
that's going to be great. Openings and closings, retention opportunities, man. It's ever-changing and fluid. We're going to try to keep you up to date on all that is. We have Coho and more Coho. Our buddy called Bushelman jumping on the second half of the show. Willamette Valley Outfitters. Fisheries to look forward to. Little changing in his regimen as well as closures on this Columbia, as in fact going in place this evening. Going to change where some of our guys will be fishing, including us. Also, Tommy, additional fisheries to look forward to. You and I are going to have a discussion on a handful of different fisheries. And we're talking Willow Pop, Chinook, and Coho opportunities. We still have some great steelhead opportunities. Tuna, of course, is still happening.
Yeah.
And with weather windows looking like they are, we got some great options to get out there on the water, even though we have these closures going on. And, of course, we'll close out the show. We have a few points of reference. We have some opportunity coming up putting together some goose and duck hunts with our buddy Shelby Ross Outdoors. We pinned him down last week at the Ducks Unlimited Banquet, and we're going to get some hard dates on the calendar coming up quickly so we can invite you all to join us, and we might even start talking maybe a little pheasant outing. What do you think?
Ooh, I like the sound of that. And just so everyone knows, there will be no tuna closings, okay? The tuna is open, it will be open, it's good, and it's going to be good.
There will be no tuna closings, that is for certain. So, all right, before we stumble along too far along here, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, going to kind of recap some of the events on the Columbia as of late, Buoy 10, and then as we moved upriver the last couple days, and ultimately now we're looking at a closure, Tommy, going into effect tonight. What does that mean? What's it look like? All that and more. We come back after this break right here at Fish on Northwest.
Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Defiance Marine guarantees the best price on a new and best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine is a boat dealer who proudly sells Defiance, Allied, and Arima Boats. All boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Defiance Marine has all your boating needs to help you get out on the water.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
For more than 90 years, you've entrusted one brand to guide you toward living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Now you can entrust affiliated Better Homes and Gardens real estate professionals to interpret your needs and help you find the home in which to live your dreams through every stage of your home buying or selling process. And through every stage of your life, there's Better Homes and Gardens real estate. Expect better.
Welcome back here in studio to Winning with Tommy Donlan, Fish on Northwest. Thanks for joining us. You know, Tommy, I spent the last couple of weeks kind of traveling around, dragging the boat to various locations. 2 weeks ago down at Buoy 10.
Right.
Giving that a go, you know, fishing can be red hot or you may have to work a little bit for it. And the first couple of days, I was a little bit taken aback. Like, why am I grinding so hard and not getting the results I want, knowing what I've done down there in the past?
Well, it's got to be frustrating, too, because you know how many fish are in the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, there's just tons of fish, and you look around, you're at the right place at the right time with the tide that it presents you to, and just, you know, you have a plan, and you go to work, and you're putting in, you know, gear that you have confidence in. Your line angles are good, your thumb's good, everything looks good, people around you are catching fish, and you're getting bit, but I'm not getting bit as often as I want to. So day 3, I made some changes. I was utilizing, which I had confidence in, man, very well designed, very well rigged, commercial produced droppers and bumpers. And I thought these are going to be great. No, you know, less tangles, very good ball bearings, lots of things working in my favor. I just think they're too loud. I think there's too much presence there.
Too much flash, too much color.
Too much color, and I took them off. I put on my own stuff. Day 3, the shortest day we had to fish because we had to check out of our room. More than doubled the encounters or takedowns with fish in half the time. And I'm just like, okay, so now is that enough to go on? Well, it's kind of enough to make an initial decision. If I was going to be back down there for a few more days, I knew what I was doing.
And that's the only thing you changed. You didn't change.
The only thing I changed.
The flasher, the
weight,
lure.
presentation, fishing the tide, doing the same thing, fishing areas that we'd fished before, and it all came together. So sometimes it's subtle changes, recognizing things aren't working, and willingness to not just be complacent, right? Just change it out. So then moved upriver here the last couple days. I've been wanting to fish these upper stretches of the Columbia as them fish move up. Last year, my boat wasn't ready to go, so I had to sit on the sideline. But this year, I was like, I made it a point, going to run down there. We're talking that Kelso, Longview, Kalama area, all of that, opportunity. And it paid off. Tied up some homemade spinners. Had ordered some blades, just put some color combinations together that I thought would work.
Yeah.
Turbidity in the water, and it's a combination of UVs and glows and certain spinner blades that I know produce. And doggone it, Monday took off pretty good. Yesterday, a lot of guys were working hard to get some takedowns. We encountered 10 fish, got some really nice. I think our biggest one, that fish is 25 to 27. It was a brute.
Yeah, it was. I'm really surprised because those lures, to me, they look small for Chinook salmon. But yet, even with the watercolor that you have, that's what they were keying in on.
Yeah, you just, Herzog always likes to say, hey, they aren't talking, but if they're snapping, you just keep going with it, right? So a little bit of tuna fire gel on there, a little bit of anise, and lo and behold, them things were getting ripped. And we did good for a couple days. And then, of course, now we're moving towards not the opportunity that we thought we had coming here. We were talking potentially, 3 Coho down at Buoy 10.
Right.
Closing to Chinook, but Coho opportunity.
Right, and we had that selective fishery through August 24th.
Yes.
And then come the 25th, it was non-selective, right? So you could keep non-clip fish.
Yep.
And that lasted a handful of days until the 31st.
6 days.
And when that 6th day was up, we were 230% of the quota.
So we're talking about,
over.
Going into season setting this year was pretty dicey. They knew the wild component of the tulies was going to be questionable, so they made it a hatchery, selective hatchery, Chinook fishery only opportunity down Buoy 10 to the 24th. 25th, it went to wild retention. You're telling me in 6 days we hit 230% of the quota.
Right.
Really put a dent in it. So we completely wiped out our opportunity because when you got nothing to fish up against, you don't get to go after everything else that's there.
Right, you leave it on the table.
So our upriver brights right now that are just, teaming up the river, and all these coho that are going to come.
Right, and that's sad because that's the high quality fish that you want to target.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we got our hooks into yesterday and the day before, threw back some tulies.
Right.
The tulies are still swimming. If you're in around that Lewis, Callis area and whatnot, Kalama, those are tulies that are making it back to that lower stretch.
Right.
They can still consider it lower stretch. You're not quite mid-range on the Columbia by any means. You're still in that lower tidal influence water, actually.
Right.
So you are fishing the tide there. You don't have the tide swings like you do down at Buoy 10, but we have nonetheless a good 4-foot tide and a pretty strong current.
I can see how this would happen though. When Oregon allows an unlimited number of guides on the water.
There is that component.
And you have that saturation of boats that are running not just one, but multiple trips a day.
Yeah.
Plus the general sport fishing population.
Yep.
You're going to hammer those fish in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that number, 230%, is, when you told me that, I was like, holy cow, that's the impact we had, but we certainly did. So effective this evening at midnight, basically, September 1st, the Columbia is closed to all salmon and steelhead fishing from Bonneville down to the mouth, right?
Right.
So
the whole kit and caboodle.
Yep. They're going to have meetings on September 8th to reconvene and kind of take a look at. There's some treaty commercial gillnet fisheries that may be conducted. There's also the commercial fleet. And then, we have our recreation component as well.
It's just really sad because you have all those coho that are coming in, and we have a completely strong run of coho. And we were talking about doing 3 hatchery coho.
Yeah.
And now that's up in the air.
And you would have liked to have seen the Chinook opportunity through Labor Day.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the numbers would bode well, but we're up against it now. Now it comes down to them having meetings, reconvening, gauging the progression or degression of the run, and deciding when we get to go back in the water below Bonneville. So that's kind of where we're at. So, all right, much more to look forward to. Tommy, you got a bait lab to perform.
Yes, indeedy.
Bait for tuna. Stick around for that. Something you definitely want to take a look at. You're going to learn something from this man. Don't go anywhere. Jump out for a quick break. We'll be back here in the bait lab. Fish Out Northwest.
Allied, the new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
Hi, this is Joe and Megan from Archery World. We have 4 store locations. We are at the Lacey location right now. I just want to highlight some of our camping gear. We have Mystery Ranch packs. We have crispy boots. We have 6 Hour optics. We carry Havalon knives. We carry Garmin products as well. So it's not just archery. We want to try to make this one-stop shopping for you guys. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Welcome back to Fish on Northwest, and guess what? We're in my favorite place, the Bait Lab. I'm Tommy Donlin, and this is brought to you by Sportco Max Lures. And you know what? We are going to cover one of my absolute passions, which is tuna fishing, and not just tuna fishing, but live bait tuna fishing. So I want to run through kind of the setup that I use day in and day out when we target albacore tuna off the coast of Washington and Oregon. And it all really starts with a good rod and reel setup. Now, what you're really looking for here is a high-speed lever dragon. In this case, I've got an Accurate Fury 400. They're beautiful reels, 6-to-1 gear ratio, just absolutely smooth. And you really do with these baits, with these anchovies, which is really, when you compare it to a sardine or even a herring or some of the other baits, it's a super weak bait. So you got to have a reel that puts out a lot of free spool, and these reels do that. Okay. The rod, this is an HLR 7630 edge rod. What you're looking for in a rod is you're really looking for a rod that has plenty of backbone so that you can lift that fish, but it has a soft tip. So if that fish turns, kicks, and takes another run, you're not yanking the hook out of their mouth. And let's face it, when you compare the mouth of an albacore to a bluefin to a yellowfin, you know, it's a lot softer than some of those other species of tuna. So you do want a soft tip in the rod, and this 7630 does exactly that. It's a 7.6 foot rod, 7 foot 6 inch rod, rated for 30 pound. Now the other thing, if we go to the table here, what you're going to notice is this reel is spooled absolutely to the brim, maybe within 1/8 of an inch of the end of the spool, with 50 pound solid core Jerry Brown Spectra. I really like blue. Blue blends in a lot better with the watercolor. You know, just a tip, you want to make sure that this line is spooled on tight. Otherwise, the line's going to dig into itself when you get a fish on, okay? So all the way from the very bottom of the spool to the top, it's all Spectra. And that's what allows us to get away with these small reels. And what Accurate's done is they've been able to package a small reel, but just an absolute ton of drag, okay? The next thing you're going to know as we go back to the table here is this absolutely slim profile knot. And that's because this is the FG knot. Super slim profile, really strong. There's 2 knots that you can use. I highly recommend. One is the FG knot and the other one is the PR bobbin knot. It does require a bobbin to tie. The PR bobbin knot will win in a strength test over the FG knot. Okay, so this is what I'm using to go from my Spectra, my 50 pound solid core Spectra, to my 25 pound, 30 pound, 40 pound fluorocarbon here. Okay, and really all you're looking for is you're looking about 10 to 12 feet of fluorocarbon. And you do want fluorocarbon because these tuna, I mean, you've seen their eyeballs, they're absolutely huge. They can see everything in the water column. So you need as much stealth as possible. If I can do, you know, my standard's 25, okay, 25 pound. If they're on the chew pretty good, you can bump it up to 30 or maybe even 40, but sometimes you got to drop it down to 20 just to get bit, okay? Yeah, our albacore, no problem with 20 or 25 pound. Now we get to the business end here, and what you're going to see is you're going to see you know, what most people would consider maybe a trout hook. Looks pretty small, doesn't it? Okay, that's a number 2 owner fly liner ringed hook. That's a San Diego jam knot. And then you're gonna notice I've got this egg sinker. Now, you do not want this egg sinker riding right above the ring of the hook, because the tuna will use this egg sinker to pry this hook out of his mouth. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and you're gonna slide this egg sinker up the line. So here we go. And we're gonna get about 3 feet on this. And then you're gonna take a split shot. You're gonna put the split shot on the line, just like so. And you're gonna come around with the pliers and you're gonna crimp that split shot onto the line, close it just ever so gently, and this is what it's gonna look like. Okay, now why would I use split shot? And I'll tell you when. If it's windy and the boat's getting blown hard, you're moving at 2 knots, you need something to help get that anchovy down. I don't like to use a lot of weight. In fact, most of the time, I'm gonna start with just the split shot. Okay, and this is pretty small. This is a size 3 split shot. And then if I need a little bit more, I can put an egg sinker above it, 1/4 ounce. And the beauty of this is I can take this split shot off. I can move the sinker up the line, down the line, wherever I want to put it, 3 feet, 4 feet away from the hook. Okay, and that's really the key. Again, I don't like to use weight. In fact, if I've got about 10 knots of wind or less, I am going no weight at all. You want to try to have the stealthiest presentation you can in order to present that bait perfectly to the fish. Okay, and that's my live bait tuna setup. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back right here on Fish on Northwest after the break. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Sportco, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
Yep, for sure.
Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
All right, welcome back here in studio. Nicely done there, brother.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Yeah, the live bait thing, man.
I love it.
I've had a taste of it, and I want more.
Yeah, we need to go get you some more.
What's crazy is the size of those hooks. You're getting,
Oh, I know.
25-pound fish, and look at the size of that hook.
Right. No problem. Day in and day out.
No sense. But hey, whatever works. I mean,
you got to match. You got to match the hook to the size of the bait. And let's face it, anchovies are small and they're weak. So hence number 2, number 4 hooks.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on. We got some updates, some openings and closings. So we had a couple days ago, Tommy, like 48 hours ago, Area 13 was closing to fishing, Chinook and Coho retention. WDFW met with co-managers, predominantly Nisqually tribe that oversees and monitors that fishery. I had lunch last week with David Trout, a friend of mine. He is the head of the natural resources there with Nisqually tribe, and very forthcoming with information. He was like, "Yeah, we need to meet on this because look, the original The original preseason forecast, I think, was at about 14,000 fish, which is low for the Nisqually. Like 6-7 years ago, we're talking 45,000 fish.
Right.
South Puget Sound gets Chinook coming back to the Deschutes and to the Nisqually, and collectively, that South Sound should just be teeming with fish, especially when we look at this year and the robust Chinook numbers, other areas of Puget Sound, in Columbia River and whatnot,
right?
So why are we having a problem with South Sound? That's a discussion for later on. We're actually going to get David Trout in here because, man, we got some great things to talk about in that regard. Nonetheless, looked like it was going to come in way under because their conducted net fisheries were not performing, and then all of a sudden we had an uptick here this last week. They think they're going to land somewhere soft of the original forecast, but it's going to be more than 5,000 or 6,000 that they were kind of going, oh my gosh, we have a serious problem here. So it's not like really great, spectacular news, but it's not to the point where, excuse me, they have to close it down. So it did open back up today. I think we had a closure of about 48 hours, and that is that at least they're communicating.
Right.
At least they're having a conversation.
And at least it's really responsive, right? And instead of letting the fishery go through and now you blow it by 200%, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They stay on top of it pretty darn good. The Nisquallies always have. They rely on their monitoring and their managers and their biologists, and they work very closely together, and they will shut their guys down on a snap of a finger, go, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
Or, hey, it's performing over anticipation, we can continue to fish. And so in the recreational folks, believe it or not, you have a lot to give them thanks for in that regard, because they truly do monitor their fishery and provide it for us to take advantage of.
Right.
So
and we're seeing some really, what I would consider weird or odd or dynamic things going on with the management of fisheries this year. And the other one, right, in Westport, which I thought I would never see, is they've gone to non-selective, aka unclipped coho take, right?
Yep.
Didn't think I'd ever see that.
Right.
And all of a sudden, here we are going to that. Now, we take a hit in the quota, a big hit, right? We're going
that was surprising.
That was surprising. We go from 40-some thousand down to, just 14,000 fish. And, already we're down to 10,000 fish left, right? So you can kind of see the writing on the wall. We've only got maybe 2 weeks of this gig left, and then we're out of coho. So I can't say that I agree with what's happening. The other thing that we got to understand is this puts more hatchery coho into the river system and potentially onto the spawning beds, which we know has always been an issue. It's one of the things that gets held over our heads in terms of the management of the hatchery fish, and has been used against us in the past in terms of trying to lower the hatchery rates.
Yeah, so if we're not careful here and we push too many hatchery fish into the tributaries and they do reach the gravel versus getting into the hatcheries, that becomes problematic down the road, right? So, who knew the buy-off of targeting wild fish and retaining wild fish versus all the catch and release going on in the ocean would somehow trickle down to this conversation, or we would be aware of the fact we may end up with more hatchery fish on the gravel by taking more wild fish out. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but the big picture thing, you didn't see this coming, right? So some are happy, some are, I'm just kind of like, okay, now I see the handwriting on the wall here. So, all right, hey, that is going to do it for us here on the first half of the show. If you're tuning in with Root Sports, hope you enjoyed. We're going to jump out for a quick break. If you're streaming with us live this evening, do not go anywhere. Second half of the show coming up right after the break.
Sergeant Daniel Moulter began his tour of duty on October 21st, 1996, and ended his tour on June 27th, 2020. On the authority of Constable Carlos B. Lopez of the Travis County Constable's Office, Precinct 5, badge number 504 is officially retired, and Sergeant Dale Moulter is 1042. Godspeed, Sergeant Moulter.
Honoring fallen law officers of 2021. The 2022 End of Watch Ride begins in May from Spokane, Washington. The ride across the country to honor the men and women of law enforcement who paid the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our communities will cover more than 23,000 miles. We ride to ensure that no fallen officer or their family is ever forgotten. EOW relies on sponsors and donations to cover this cost. Please consider donating to help support the families and departments of the fallen officers. You can donate by visiting our website at www.endofwatchride.com/donate. Please support the Blue.
Hi, we're Joe and Megan Malico, owners of Archery World up here in Lacey.
We're a full pro shop, so we have a full pro service also. We have a huge indoor range. We carry 11 bow lines, all the major bow lines, and then there's subsidiary companies too. Like if we carry Bowtech, we carry Diamond. If we carry Matthews, we carry Mission.
When you come in, we're going to ask you, what kind of price point you're looking for. What's your hope, what's your goals with this bow? And with that information in mind, we'll point you in the direction of, that price point bows, and then maybe give you the option to test fire, maybe a higher level bow, just so you can compare. But it really is all about getting what it is that's going to work for you.
We don't upsell anyone. They shoot it, they like it, they don't like it, they don't get it. We don't operate like that. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Hey, welcome back here in studio, Fish on Northwest, Winnie and Tommy Donlin, and welcoming to the show our good buddy, longtime friend, Kyle Bushelman, Willamette Valley Outfitters. Kyle, you've been a little busy lately, man. You've been posting pics out there on the social media, just killing it down there at Buoy 10 for the entire month of August. Congrats on that, man. Looks like you had an epic season. How do you think that fishery performed for you this year overall? Did it meet expectation?
It was the best season I've had, honestly. The fishing was good from start to finish. And as we all know, it's a bummer it finished, but it's the way it goes. So, we're making adjustments now, last minute adjustments because of the Coho season being shut down for right now anyway.
Right.
So when you look back at the season that you've had, and as good as it's been, what do you think has been the key to your success? And I'm really wondering about the terminal tackle side of things, like, lure presentation, leader lengths. Like, what were the keys for you, Kyle?
Well, for me, it was fine tuning the 360 game. There's a lot of little, fine tunes with it that made my success happen. Little things like leader length between, like my cut plugs to my flasher. But the biggest one was trusting my electronics and adjusting my depth, not sticking to the classic 25, 30, 35, 40 on my counters. But, I was running heavy leads and 75 and 80 on the counter a lot to dredge near the bottom where I was seeing bait and fish. I just fished deeper than normal work because that's where I saw the fish. If I saw a fish high, I would run rods up, and I ran my bow rods kind of high anyway, just because, but there were days my bow rods weren't getting the fish, and those are usually the hottest rods we have. And so I would put my bow rods at 45 or 50, my back rods and middle rods 60 and 80. And it made all the difference in the world. We're all kind of doing similar things. And I think as I was talking to other guides, like we'll get the cell phone bite thing going, and it's like, where are you at? Same area and here, and man, I'm not getting bit. We'll deepen up, and then they call back saying, man, it worked. That was kind of the biggest thing for me this year, was really trusting my electronics and sticking to it. So
did you notice any particular tide set that seemed to fish more favorably, such as, those holdover tides we had about a week and a half ago were pretty nice that afternoon, 3-4 foot holdover tide versus that big push out. Or did that 7 and 8 foot incoming or outgoing tide always fish pretty consistently? What'd you find?
I like the bigger tides. I think it's easier to find where the fish are. The soft tides tend to spread things out. They could be down low, they could be up high. I know a lot of people get caught up on the water temperature, and I think that's important, but I didn't see huge changes between like a 68 and a 66 personally. I just tend to, I was kind of going on, on the bigger tides, those fish tend to get sucked back down below the checkerboard in that deeper water off the church. And I fished a lot more below the bridge this year than I did above, which is not normal. I usually stay above the bridge a lot, it seems like.
Yeah.
This year, I had a couple days right before those tides where we were fishing in the afternoon quite a bit, that were really good above the bridge, but and a couple days at Tongue Point. But for the most part, the bigger tides tend to focus the fish a little bit more, I believe. And I had way better, well, I had good success the whole time, but it seemed like we had way more success with the big swings, for me anyway.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I like it. Hey, so Kyle,
Yeah.
what have you been hearing about that 3-fish coho limit? Are we going to get that here September 7th, 8th, or what have you been hearing?
I haven't heard much, but traditionally we'll get something back. I mean, I don't think the closure is going to last the whole season. I do believe ODFW and WDFW need to come to 2022 and adjust the way they do things. But with that being said, I think we will get them. My buddy was out today and they didn't hook a tule all day. It was all upriver brights and coho.
Go figure.
So maybe next year we'll get something different. And personally, I'd like to see us start later and go later, like start the 15th and have hatchery fish till the end of the month and then open it up completely.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's exactly what I was telling Tommy earlier. I go, going into this with the wild tule constraints that we were up against, and they drafted a fishery that allowed us to fish, albeit hatchery only through the 24th, they would have been better served, I think. Now, there would be many that would argue with you and I, Kyle, but, to truly just open it up on the 15th, like you said, get later into the season.
Well,
who wouldn't want to be out there right now getting into those upriver brights and all these coho coming in?
Correct. The other thing is with the hatchery only thing for the most of the season, it puts stress on people to kill a hatchery fish, which in turn is tule, where if we just start later, which the better Chinook fishing's later anyway. A lot of us are out in the ocean that first week and a half anyhow, trying to get our fish, and water temperatures are really warm. So the fishery's a bit tougher that first week and a half. So if we started the 15th, had hatchery fish until the end of the month, and then they opened it up wide open for everybody, the bulk of the run's pushing up, and now we're hitting cohos and a few upriver brights, and the tule impact is less. I believe that would be the move. But we'll see. I mean, I don't even know why they clip tules if we're not supposed to have them. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
if they're whatever.
I was gonna say, we're at September 1st. That thing's gonna reopen for coho here at some point. If it's a week or 10 days, we're gonna see some pretty robust coho coming in that lower estuary and have opportunity on it. Give us a couple bits of pointers here. What are some things some folks should do to change up their presentation, their gear, to truly target coho now that the Chinook have pretty much moved on through? Did we lose it?
Well, I'm a big fan of can you hear me?
Yeah.
You guys there?
Yeah, we're just kind of breaking up a little bit.
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead and keep talking.
Okay,
I got you.
Yeah, I like to stick with the hoochie spinners again. I'm a big fan of the Alaska spinners from VIP. They are coho killers.
Right.
And fishing up and staying on that lower section around El Waco. I think the flood tide, save your energy. Go out there at the beginning of the bottom of the tide and fish that flood, and you can hammer a lot of coho. I was really looking forward to the 3-fish season, and I think we'll get it, but maybe in a couple weeks, and that's still plenty of time to get down there and catch a bunch of fish.
Right.
Perfect. So hey, what's on your schedule, Kyle, after Buoy 10? Are you going to be doing a little bit of Depot Bay, and is that going to be a non-select fishery for coho down there?
Yeah, that starts September 3rd. I'm on the way home now. I'm actually at a rest stop right now because traffic has been a disaster today. But Monday, I'm down at Winchester Bay. I have a couple trips there. And then on the 3rd is our non-select season out here. And we got 10,000 fish added to it that were a carryover. So that's kind of nice. So my plan is to go Depot Bay and to be fishing off the mouth of the Silettes. I mean, there's a lot of Chinook and coho that go into that system, and I like the option of dropping crab pots on the way out for my guys, and and kind of making the best of this non-select season if the ocean allows us out. So that's kind of my plan for the next couple weeks until we see what happens in Astoria and kind of how the Chinook fishery kind of turns up on the Oregon coast, because where I'm traditionally at on the Siuslaw, it's closed. So it puts pressure on the Umpqua, it puts pressure on the Alsea, it puts pressure on the Silettes and the Coos. So we're all of us guides that are in central part of the state of Oregon are going to have to, move around a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So speaking of that Depot Bay fishery, Kyle, for those that don't know, targeting, Coho, Chinook, Coho, whatever your options are. Is that a lead option? Is that a lead fishery? Are you on downriggers, or what's the go?
I'll still be using lead. We're fishing shallow. I mean, generally speaking, I'll be fishing what we call the bubbles. The bubbles are generally right off the tips of the rivers. The mouth there at the jetty tips, and the Silettes doesn't really have a jetty, but it still has the same depth contours of 30 feet down to 90, and I'll be within that range fishing in the upper part of the column. And as I'm getting close, we'll be fishing near the bottom with 20s and 18s and 16-ounce leads.
Nice.
So we do pretty good. The days that I'm, not able to go out in the ocean, I'll be in Silette's Bay or Winchester. Just kind of depends on the bite. I kind of live in the middle, so I'll be going back and forth.
Gotcha.
I like it. So, hey, Kyle, how do people get a hold of you, and do you have any openings?
I have some openings in September. There's a few, and then October opens up quite a bit more. Willamette Valley Outfitters, LLC.com. We just updated the domain name on that.
Okay.
And then my number. Yep. And then 541-517-7536, or they can go to Facebook and find me there too. Willamette Valley Outfitters.
Very good. Willamette Valley Outfitters on Facebook. www.willamettevalley.outfittersllc.com is the update. Contact Kyle Bushelman. You're not going to be disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me. I fish with my buddy from time to time.
Yeah. And look at those hogs we flashed up too. How could you go wrong?
Yeah, put up some dimers for you there, buddy. So, well done.
Thank you.
Week 10, successful, and can't wait to see what you keep kicking out here over the next month of September.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good night. We'll see you.
Yep. Bye.
All righty. Well, there you go, Tommy. There's guys like him that, when I'm down there fishing, Kyle's on my phone, and hey, where you at? How's it going? And he gets into a bite. He takes time to pick up the phone and give me a call. So it's pretty nice, Been friends for a long time. He's a good guy. Very good fisherman, to say the least. All right, we are going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. Tom, we've got some fisheries we want to discuss. Have a few folks that were messaging us up on different platforms asking about the Willow Pop Fishery and some tricks to maybe key in on for success there. We got some summer steelhead fisheries still going on. Tommy, you got some most important tidbits about tuna for success, and just a handful of fisheries we can kind of key in on here now that we have some closures kind of surrounding us in various areas. So plenty to talk about. Don't go anywhere. A couple minute break. We'll be back right here at Fish on Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima Boats are manufactured with pride in Bremerton, Washington. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why Arima boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. Arima can offer every boat with Honda outboard packages so that you can take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Call or stop by Arima Boats today and let them help you get into your very next boat.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company could build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
Welcome back here in the studio, Dwayne England, Tommy Donlan. And Tommy, we've got a lot of messages coming in here tonight we haven't really paid attention to. Couple points of interest here. Yeah, Michael states, without the tribes, we would have no fishery on the Nisqually. That is a 100% accurate statement. They pretty much run, monitor, and like I said, they call the shots when it comes to either their guys fishing, we have opportunity, days a week, when their nets go in or don't, based on run performance.
Yeah.
And they really key in on that. And David Trout caught everyone's attention a couple years ago when he was talking about alternative gear selections. They were utilizing test fisheries to see what was the most conducive to getting fish and not harming wild fish. So they put in some extra effort there.
Yeah.
I always tip my cap to them because they're trying.
Yeah.
Whereas other fisheries, other trouble fisheries may not so much.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I'd like to see some more open and creative thinking around hatchery management, especially when they've taken strains out of like the Green River and transplanted them in other rivers and then claimed that is now the wild fish. I think that thinking needs to go down the road, and you just need to ask yourself the question, well, what strain of salmon would be the most successful and the most prolific on this given river system, right?
Yeah.
And then wherever that is, go get it and put it in that river system.
That is a fantastic segue, because part of my discussion with David Trout the other day at lunch was I asked him once again about this Skagit component. Is this something they've generated or done? He says, no. We literally, through DNA analysis and monitoring these fish, they have concluded that they have a component of Skagit Chinook that have found their way into the Nisqually River. And the last, I believe it was last season, they acquired about 500 or 600 of them.
Really?
And so this is a much stronger strain of wild fish than anything that could have been derived from this, piece of junk fish out of the green watershed that they've put in and seeded all the Puget Sound rivers, right? So they are, with science and biology, they're monitoring this, they're managing this. They're seeing if it's conducive to move forward with the program. I asked him, what does that mean? It's like future brood stocking. He's got a lot of really good, insightful information. He's going to be here in the studio in a couple weeks because I really want to get into this conversation. It is well worth having that discussion, looking towards the future of some of these fisheries and what changes may be coming to get that more abundance of a return and much stronger fish, right? So important stuff. Josh was asking, do we have a deal code with Edge Rods, Broker Rods Sunday, looking for a new one? Yes, first of all, Edge is the right direction for you to head. And yes, go to our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. You'll see a coupon there, coupon code FHN20. So when you go to Edge Rods, select your rod, go to checkout, you enter in the coupon code box down at the bottom, FHN20, and when you hit apply, you'll see the percentage, the 20% taken off of your purchase. So that's how that works.
Not 5%.
Nope.
Not 10%.
Nope. 20% all the time. So, and you'll see that at checkout. You got to go through the process, apply it, and when you hit submit, it'll deduct that 20%. So good luck with that, Josh. Thanks for asking. Lots of good questions on here tonight, Tommy. We'll try to circle back.
Yeah, we do have a pretty good report here out of Marine Area 1. Warren Hazen. Right now, as of today, we have been slaughtering the coho in Area 1 off the mouth of the Columbia, 280 feet on spin fish, the 2.0 and the 2.5.
How about that?
Fish are all over out there, but really from 250 to 300 feet and right off the ship canal, and they're just absolutely tearing up those spin fish.
That is going deep for coho.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta like it. So, some other fisheries to consider. I had some folks asking questions about the Willow Pop Fishery. Tom, I usually partake in that a couple times a year. I have yet to make my way down there. It's been on the uptick. I get the weekly reports from WDFW and the Willow Pop, and they're monitoring that fishery, and it seems the last couple weeks there's been an increase in the amount of fish that are being checked by the creel samplers at the docks. So there is an uptick in Chinook, and the Coho are starting to show up. Some questions were asked like, hey, my ability to go fish that will be on an outgoing tide. I'm like, okay, I fished it on an outgoing tide. I fished it on the incoming tide. Anytime we have moving water, really what it comes down to is like how much water is moving, how strong is that current pushing? Because either direction, if it's pushing hard, where are those fish going to be, Tommy?
Near the bottom, I would imagine.
On the deck, that's right. Them fish get shoved to the bottom. So if you're fishing suspended in your fisheries, on these lead fisheries, not using enough lead, or you're letting a lot of line out and letting it, halfway down the water column, you may encounter a fish from time to time, but I'm here to tell you, history would lead me to believe success is on the bottom, in the mud. You know, hit the deck, come up a crank or two, make sure you're running clean bait. Willow Pop, I guarantee you want to run your bait in helmets because of all the grass and debris.
Yes, so tell me about that a little bit, because I've heard about how bad the grass situation can be.
The eel grass can be really bad.
Is it all on top? Is it the entire water column? Like, where is all of the weeds?
There's a lot of it on top, but there is a lot of it also suspended. And if you've paid attention to some of our tutorials in the past, I take a barbecue wooden skewer and I cut it down to about 4 inches. Now that barbecue wood skewer will fit exactly through a number 3 barrel swivel.
Yep, right through the eye.
Yep, so what you do is you slide that barrel swivel up your main line on your braid. Right? We're not fishing a top shot here. Your braid goes directly to your dual snap or your dual lock, which then goes to your bumper, which then goes to your flasher, okay? So above your dual lock on your braid, you're going to slide that number 3 swivel up, and you can put it up there 5-6 feet if you want, because when you reel down,
now you're running it through the swivel, right through both eyes,
through the swivel and through the other eye.
Right.
Slide it up, and then about 4, 5, 6 feet, whatever you want to do, you cross pin that stick through that, so it runs perpendicular to your line. And what you're going to notice when the weeds get really bad and you're fishing, a couple things will happen. Your rods. We're mostly fishing triangular flashers there. You know, rotating 360s collect a lot of stuff, right? So you're keeping everything in line. Run your triangle flashers and your bait in helmets, you know, 36, 40-inch leader at the most. Get a good spin, drill bit on that. Run the Rice Davis helmets. You can't go wrong, whether you're running the, herring or an anchovy. But that stick literally will collect everything that it's running through. And what's interesting is your rod will slowly load up. And I have had days there where you literally go from one rod to the next rod to the next rod.
And just clean it off.
Just clean it off. But the beauty of this is you're not having to clean it out of everything that's spinning. It's not in your flasher.
It's above it.
It's not in your bait. It's not coating your swivels. It's not getting all balled up. It grabs everything on the stick. You reel it in. You clean the salad off, throw it to the side, drop your gear back in, hit bottom, come up a crank, you're fishing.
Yeah. Now, how deep are you fishing there?
Well, it depends. I mean, it can be 23 feet, 33 feet, 38 feet.
Depending on the tide.
Yep, depending on the tide. And the key here is to make sure you're right off the deck and monitor those rods when they load up with debris. Clean them. Use a weed grabber. Now, you got a lot of options, but and buddies that showed me that years ago, they're using little toothpicks. I'm like, oh no, I'm going toothpick on steroids.
The industrial.
Right? I'm getting, the barbecue skewer and the size 3 barrel swivel is a tight fit. And when you get a fish on, if you're 6 feet above your terminal clip there, when you are fighting that fish and you want to reel down to get to the lead to lift that fish up to net it, you just reel down against it. It pushes it right down.
Pushes it down. Okay.
It just pushes it down. It's
do you ever put two barbecue skewers in there? One in the upper, just one.
Just one.
Why not 2?
I just had never thought of it. Just like, I mean, I don't know if that would create a spinning action or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
There's only one way to find out. What isn't tried won't work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just a few points of reference there. You know, stronger tides, push it to the bottom, use enough lead to stay down there. Use helmets. I guarantee you're going to be much more successful with durable bait. Brine it in Potsky's fire brine the night before. Add a little bit of extra salt to it. Toughen them up.
Yeah.
And you're going to do good. Blue works very well when the sun's out. Chartreuse works very well if it's a cloudy day. I'll put it that way. Yep.
Yeah. You know, that's something that I've always wanted to do for tuna. You talk about herring in a helmet, anchovy in a helmet. I've always wanted to run an anchovy in the helmet for tuna on the tuna grounds. You know?
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's times when you can see the tuna, you know, on the sonar.
Yeah.
Right? You can see them. They're there. They're at 200 feet. They're hanging out, doing their thing, and you're having trouble getting them to come up to live bait or to whatever, right? And you got a couple options. You could jig.
Sure.
But I mean, you know, using a heavy lead 20-ounce ball and getting something down there that actually replicates a wounded bait,
right?
And slow trolling it, right? So it's in their zone for a long time. It's not going anywhere.
Yep.
It's just sitting there doing its thing, and it's flashing. It's like a beacon down there at 180 feet.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't work, because they're used to hammering bait in that same exact condition.
Yeah.
So it's something that we'll have to try next time we get out to the tuna grounds.
Not a bad idea. Speaking of which, boy, what'd you guys put on the deck the other day? 41 fish?
Yeah, we got 41 the other day,
Yeah.
and it's been so consistent. It's been phenomenal. I mean, then it's like,
tuna are back.
typically 20 to 40 fish, right? In a full day of fishing there, and they've been on live bait. They've been eating. They what's really surprised me is they're still eating the troll really well. So if you don't have a bait tank, I would say don't worry. Go out there, troll 5 lines, 7 lines. Put as many lines as you can in the water off your boat without tangling the gear. And once you get bit on that first hookup on the troll fish, don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. And you'll get another bite and another bite. The first troll bite of the other that we had the other day, we had 2 takedowns on Nomad DTXs, the diving plugs, and we're pulling those in, and we're pulling in the spreader bar, and the spreader bar gets absolutely annihilated, smoked about 5 feet from the transom.
Why are you just pulling it in?
We're pulling it in because we're getting out of the way. We're getting ready to go to bait. We're pulling it in, and it just gets hammered right off the stern. And that tuna hit it so hard, he jumped out of the water as he was grabbing the chase bait, and boom, that individual that was bringing in that, just thinking, I'm just doing my job so that we can get bait in the water. Yeah. Boom, now he's hooked up. We got 3 on. And so the troll bite is it's been phenomenal.
It's been good, huh?
And I think for a lot of people, especially when you get into September, there's a lot of hesitation involved with going out and just trolling because they know, traditionally or historically, those fish just key in on live bait.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, go out there and troll. You're going to get a lot of fish that way.
How about the irony? Last year we couldn't get live bait. So we were
Right.
forced to troll, and then, we would throw some other options
Some
out there.
dead bait,
and
some
we
jigs.
were throwing,
Yeah.
This year you have live bait, and the fish continue getting late into it here. Now we're into September, and they're still responding on the troll.
They are.
It's why you got to go with multiple options, right?
You do. Well, and that's why I love tuna fishing, because you never know what tool you're going to have to pull out of the toolbox that day.
Yeah.
And, just when you think you've got them figured out and you know what's going on, they decide to chew on something else, right? Like earlier on in August, it was like swim baits, man. They were eating swim baits left and right. Went out there this last weekend. They wouldn't even touch the swim bait. And trust me, I trolled everything at every speed, from a 3/4 ounce head all the way up to 3 ounce head, different shapes, sizes, colors, and they didn't want anything to do with it. They were all about those diving plugs.
Sounds to me like you got to go out there with options.
You do.
You got to go out there with options. How far out are you guys going right now?
That's the other beautiful thing. So I don't think people really appreciate like how good the tuna fishing is right now and how close they are. We're talking 35 to 40 miles.
Compared to last year?
Last year, 80 miles, 70 miles, no good water, temp breaks, no good color breaks, just kind of muddled water. And here we are, we're going out there, and it's not, the water that we're fishing is not like a gin clear blue. It's a little bit of an off blue, but the fish are there.
Yeah.
And they've been there for a long time, and so it's been consistent. It's really not that far away. A lot of the guys are going out. We've got some halibut days this weekend. Guys are going out, getting their halibut out of Westport, and then they're just going out, bumping out another 10 miles, and they're getting, a handful of tuna on the troll.
Might as well. You're almost there.
Right.
So just go out and get them. So,
yep.
We still got plenty of tuna opportunity, man, through September, weather windows, and, if things kind of stay offshore as they are, just it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Still got a great month to look forward to, and into October potentially. So, Tommy, and we are not completely done with summer. I believe summer ends on the calendar September 22nd, but the rivers would tell you otherwise. There are plenty of summer steelhead still around in some of these near coastal rivers here, and the Cowlitz is starting to pick up a little bit. Get some reports of guys doing well there. I like this time of year on the Cowlitz if I can find time. The drift boat is a great way to go when that flow gets under 2,500. Coon shrimp on a bait diver. You're picking pockets, man, because you can literally float down that river, and it's a bigger river. I don't spend a lot of time there because it is a bigger river and it's sled heavy. But when we get down to under 2,500 feet of flow, and we're into late August, early September, and you can literally go down, and historically having fished it so much, knowing where all the pockets are, because it really doesn't change. The ability just to drop coon shrimp on divers in those pockets, and who doesn't want to be on the receiving end of a summer run steelhead ripping a coon shrimp for everything it's worth on one of those edge kokanee rods? I'm going to tell you, it's a good time. So don't give up on your summer run fishing yet. still plenty of opportunity. The rivers are low and clear. Maybe try pinning a coon shrimp under a clear float, fish in the pockets, tossing small spinners, even some imitation baits and things. Small presentation, and yes, definitely jigs, dark color patterns, whiteheads dark in the morning, and of course go to all dark purples and blacks and reds in the afternoon. So plenty of options there. On the Columbia, if you want to go after Chinook, and there's going to be plenty of them, just got to go above Bonneville, man. This time of year, historically, we would be over there mid-September at fish camp, and we're fishing the mouth of the Deschutes or the mouth of the Klickitat. And you got a couple options. You're hover fishing eggs, which is just a kick in the pants, or you are on the troll with, 3.5 spinners, Brad Super Baits, cut plugs, either the minis or the kokanee cut plug last year with our buddy Aaron Peterson. We were just annihilating the Chinook. 24-inch leaders, small 3.5 spinner.
So the same spinners that you have rigged up here for Buoy 10.
No hoochie, some with a hoochie, most just a spinner blade and some beads, and a double hook setup or that treble hook and a single hook. Check your regs if you're curious how many points you can have. But yeah, we still got great Chinook opportunity on the Columbia. You just got to go above Bonneville. Yeah. And the fish are going to be there, man. It's that time of year. Yeah. They're going to start stacking up in that upper river, and there's going to be plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, and that just, if you haven't gotten out already for this salmon run that has been, and everywhere, doesn't matter. You know what's totally underrated is the Chinook bite in Area 10. And we've
right
barely
now.
Mentioned it right now.
Guys
are going out and they're getting their limits.
Oh, yeah. And today, I think it was, I saw John Martinez went out there. He got 4 nice coho.
Right.
2 ocean coho, probably 2 that were more of a resident type coho. But Area 10 continues to kick out fish day in and day out. And it's been overlooked by a lot of folks because everybody's just running everywhere else, right? Yep. So Hump Tulip's open today. So our coastal rivers, some of them are opening today. It's that time of year, Tommy. Bobber and eggs. Do I dare say I got about 60 pounds of eggs?
All right, let's go do it.
Got about 60 pounds. Speaking of which, we'll talk about some of those tutorials coming up here when we come back. We're going to jump out for a quick break. Just a handful of fisheries. Tommy and I wanted to kind of, hey, it's not all doom and gloom, man. We got a lot of opportunity out there.
Yes, indeed.
You need to get out there and take advantage of it. We're going to jump out for a break. We come back and close out the show. A couple points of reference on some hunts coming up. And some tutorials you guys are probably going to ask us to be sure we do. We'll do that when we come back right here, Fish on Northwest.
All Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why all boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. All Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. All Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Before you buy any boat, stop by or call Defiance Boats today to ensure you are getting the very best glass boat your money can buy. Cutbacks in funding and fewer law enforcement resources are affecting our businesses and communities. If your business is feeling the effects, Phoenix Protective may be the solution you are looking for. They offer security solutions customized to meet your needs. From remote video monitoring in their 24-hour control center to a proactive, experienced security professional on site, Phoenix Protective has over 20 years experience in ensuring the safety of their customers. Team members are highly trained and proactive, giving them the ability to adjust to the changing needs of their customers. Customers choose to work with Phoenix Protective because they provide the next level in security support to industries such as schools, hospitals, transit, and utilities. For a security assessment to see how Phoenix Protective can help you and your business, visit their website at www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and select Contact.
All right, welcome back here in studio as we close out the show. Tommy, I was kind of mentioning it, we got these terminal fisheries kicking off. I had put up a few pictures last couple of weeks. I was curing some eggs back here in the True Bait Lab, right? And had some different recipes brewing and things going on. Hey, anybody want to see some of this stuff? Overwhelmingly, people are like, yes, please, again, show us some of your egg cures and your dehydrating of your fish flesh and those things and the things we mix in and all the different things. So, and I have some curing videos I need to also create for Podskis, so it's kind of a 2-for-1. So yeah, over the next several weeks, I'm hoping I should get my hands on some fresh eggs, and we can spend some time in the bait lab there over the next several weeks doing a couple of different recipe options. There's a difference when you start curing mature Chinook eggs versus, say, eggs you're getting in the certain parts of the Columbia where you have an upriver fish that is, big, mature, full of fat, egg production is 50% because it still has 400 miles to go.
Right.
Versus you get some of these fish out here in South Puget Sound, their eggs are really mature, skin is starting to break down on the skein, so it's a much softer egg. So if I hit that with a strong sulfite cure, I'm not going to be happy with the result. Versus if I utilize that same type of cure on a skein that's much tighter and firmer and less mature, I'm going to be very happy with the results. So
one of the other things that I think you should cover in a Bay Lab, or at least mention it and talk about it, is like how to, if you do get eggs that are bloody, like how do you get the blood out? And I mean, I never even thought about that. I'm thinking like, oh, it's salmon eggs, you just, you do the cure thing and you throw a glob on and you're good to go. And you're like, no, you get blood in there and it completely changes that scent profile, which I had never thought about.
Yeah, because, blood doesn't really cure, it just kind of spoils. Right. So, I mean, you kind of can stop the spoilage because of the salts and the sugars and the sulfites and the different things in your cures. That being said, liquid brines do a lot better in actually helping get some of that blood out of those eggs when it's hard to get the blood out. If the eggs are 2-3 days old, the blood is coagulated and firm, and it's hard to push out of the veins. If you have fresh eggs the day of, you can push that stuff right out of there, no problem. So there's a lot of variables that come into, okay, what's the status of these eggs? How fresh are they not? And if they don't stink, they still have decent color, well, I can get the blood out and I can cure them this way, and it's going to be successful. So just some tips that people are asking for. We're going to try to break that down over the next several weeks because we are going to be getting ready for that, ultimately, that October, November, terminal fisheries, bobber and eggs, Coho and Chinook. Right. Just a great part of our season to look forward to. So, yeah, going to bring that to you guys as well.
Yeah, and then we also had Shelby Ross with us from Ross Outdoors at the Ducks Unlimited Banquet, which, again, is just, it's such a grand event. Absolutely phenomenal. Great time. A lot of funds raised for the Ducks, of course. And right now we're working on our dates with Shelby, trying to figure out when we're going to have our duck and goose, hunt, shoot of 2022. So looking forward to getting those dates soon and then rolling those out to our folks.
Things to look forward to. And I told him, look, we have an overwhelming response of you folks wanting to jump on board and get over there with Tommy and I. And we look forward to that. We're going to at least do a 2-day duck hunt and another outing that will be a goose and a duck hunt, double 2-day trip as well. So, we got some great days to look forward to over there. You guys want to go to Potholes, hang out with Shelby Ross and Ross Outdoors, and whack and stack.
Well, my mind was blown. Okay, look, I've never gone goose hunting before. I'm highly invested in big game, but that was an absolute kick in the pants. I've never seen so many geese in my life on the ground, and it just unreal. Unreal.
And now you have that assault shotgun too.
That's right. That's right.
Who doesn't want to use that when we go after hunters?
Yeah, right. No, it's a Stowe. It's a Stoeger P3000.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. No.
Also, something to consider if I get a pretty good response out of you folks. We used to make a few runs over there to Miller Ranch. My buddy Scott Miller owns that. His son Jesse, they do a fantastic job. Great place to stay for a couple days in the cabins, hang out, relax, hang out at the clubhouse, have a few beers, and then a couple times a day, go out and shoot skeet, go out and shoot pheasant. It's just a really good time over there in the Palouse, out of Sprague. So if we have some interest, you guys want to go get some pheasants and watch the dogs work, or if you have dogs you want to put to work or get out there and let them train, let us know. Message us up. We can certainly put those trips together over there at Miller Ranch. It's just an absolute great time.
We got to do that, because that is going to bring back so many great memories for me of hunting pheasant in South Dakota.
Oh yeah.
On my brother's farm and with all of his buddies. We got to do that.
Yep, we will. All right, that is going to do it for us this week here. We covered a lot of ground here tonight, buddy.
That's an understatement.
We actually ran a little over an hour, but that's okay. Folks, stay tuned in, and we appreciate that. So, do what you can do, man. Get out here through the weekend. Enjoy some of these fisheries. We still have great opportunity to enjoy. Tommy, you and I and the wives and the family, we're heading down to Oahu the next couple of days. We're going to be hanging out with the boys of the Oahu Tuna Club. They have their Oahu Tuna Club Invitational, $35,000 payout to the first place boat.
Yeah,
largest payout of any albacore tournament on the West Coast. This is going to be fantastic. We're going to stream live from down there, bring you folks along for the ride, kind of give you some insight as to what that event is all about. And we'll be down there hanging out, selling our swag. We got a trailer full of stuff and all these new logo items to sell. So if you're going to be down, you know, Westport, Oahu, anywhere down there along the coast, swing on by the Oahu Tuna Club in the Saturday, what do they call that? The market out back there along the boardwalk.
Yep.
Yeah, they got the market going there. We'll be set up with the trailer, easy to find us. Come buy some swag, support our cause, and we're just looking forward to a really good time.
Yeah, stop on by and talk tuna, please.
Stop by and talk tuna.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dockside. I can't believe it. All these guys are gonna be tuna fishing, and the least we could do is at least talk about tuna fishing. Okay, please help me.
Yeah, please help. Please help Tommy at this time of need. All right, we are out of here. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you next Thursday right here live in studio, 6 p.m. Fish Out Northwest.